Now let's take a look at maps in Kotlin. So maps are essentially data structures which are used for storing key value pairs. So a key will map to a specific value and the keys need to be unique in the map. So let's define something known as age map. So just like in lists and set, you can create a read-only map or a mutable map. So let's create a read-only map. So we will use map off operator here. We will make this of type string mapping to an int. And here we're just going to give it some string mapped to the age of Ben. And same, let's do that for Sarah. So a string mapping to an integer value. Here we do not have to define the type because of type inference, it's picked up. So let's remove that. And then let's have one more. And just like the list counterpart, we can create a mutable map as well. Only difference being with the mutable map, you should be able to make changes. You should be able to add and remove data from your mutable map. However, in your read-only map, you will not be able to do that. So in order to access this, you would use the indexing operator or you could use the get function. So let's print what we have for Ben. You could do this and use the indexing operator, which is the recommended way to do it. And Ben maps to 24, and you could also use the get function here. Let's print what's Ben's age is, which works just fine. Now it's obviously recommended here to replace it with the indexing operator. And if you try and add data into this, so let's say I want to add something. So you can see that change type to mutable map. Because this is a read-only map, you are not able to add anything to it. And you could also use the put function here, which is the same thing as obviously because this is a read-only map, the put function is not available. So let's use the mutable map, and you could use the put function here. So let's see what we have in put. So we have a key and then we have a value. So let's say if I want to put the key as Jake, let's put in the value as 20. Oops, Jake will be pretty old for that. So you could use the put assignment, or you could convert put to assignment, which is the same thing as using the put function. And now if I try and get Jake from my mutable map, I should get 25 as expected. So let's run that, and that works just fine. So you can even loop through maps. You can use higher order functions as well. So let's loop using a for loop. Pretty much the same thing. In this case, we will be using a for loop, and we're going to take some key here, and then let's the value. And you're going to use the infix function here in my, let's say, age map mutable. And let's add another, something's not right. Oh, okay. So this is fine. Let's do a print ln. Oops. Print ln, and I want to do age map, use the key. So what I'm doing here is I am iterating through the age map here and looping through the keys and printing the values here. So let's try and run this. So that works just fine. If you want to print the keys, you can do that as well. So let's do that. Key. Let's use the plus operator. Use the function to dot. I don't have to use the age map accessor. I could do the value here and do a plus here as well. Just like that. There you go. So so the plus operator is basically a string concatenation operator, or returns a string obtained by concatenating the string with the string representation given. So essentially it's going to concatenate the key do, so let's have a space here and let's run this. So bend to 24, star to 21, jack to 34, it prints the values here. And just like the for loop, you could even use a higher order function like map or for each. So let's do a for each in this case, right? So we will have the first value as key and the second value as, oops, let's do brackets, and we're gonna map the key value here. So let's do a key and a value, and then use the arrow operator, and finally print the same thing. So let's do that. Let's comment this just to make sure that a higher order function is running, which is running exactly the way it's expected to. So a map is a very useful data structure to map key value pairs. Keep in mind that the keys need to be unique and the values could be any data structure, any object that you wish it to be. So play around with maps, play around with the higher order functions. They're extremely powerful to do useful operations, and I hope you have fun with this.